I wanna be a billionaire. I ain't getting no sleep till I see $1 million every week. I wanna be a billionaire. I ain't getting no sleep till I see $1 billion every week. I wanna be a billionaire. Billionaire. I wanna be a billionaire. Billionaire.
Ladies and gentlemen, how you doing? Welcome to another episode of Sleep is for Billionaires, the podcast. I am your host, Johnny Vegas. Now today, we got a unique episode on our show today, folks. We've brought two business owners together that display a sense of teamwork, and they're making their dream work. Right now, we have the owner of Connect and the owner of Great Bite, Hergie Estoquue, and AWAHN TEH.
Hi, everyone.
Hi everyone, it's Awa coming right at you.
Yeah, now I'm glad you guys came on the show today, you know, because I definitely see a lot of people with similar business strategies, and they're coming together to bring forth more opportunities for others, which is similar to what you guys are doing. So I want you to explain a little bit about your business and your mission statement and your plans for the future. But let's talk about how you got started with the business. So let's talk about your Connect, correct?
Connect, yeah, so it's Connect events.
Mm-hmm.
When I was a kid, well, it first started at this. When I was a kid, my second cousins didn't include me whenever they'd play outside, so I already felt not acknowledged by then.
Okay.
And as I went to high school, I experienced kind of the same feeling. Up until I was 21 years old, I did not get a fake ID. I waited.
Okay.
I actually
Did it the right way.
Yeah,
did it the right way.
yeah.
I waited, and when I was 21, I remember this day so vividly. Me and my best friends were actually so excited to get dolled up, get ready to go to the club in hopes to get in.
Right.
And we waited for 3 hours in line.
Gosh, no.
Ooh,
And
eager.
They did not let us in. And that feeling right there, I sat with that feeling of not feeling welcome and not feeling acknowledged. And we went home. And I just did not feel it for myself. I'm speaking on behalf of my best friends as well, because we felt all the same, that like, wow, that sucks.
Wow.
And that day I told myself I never want that feeling of not feeling acknowledged for anybody. And that's why I got inspired for Connect. And that's the whole mission, is when you go to Connect, you actually feel welcome, warm, and included. Because people always forget what you say, but
Right.
they'll never forget how you make them feel. And that's one thing, that's the mission that I want to focus on, is when you go to Connect, you just like feel like, wow, I feel warm, I feel welcome here. And,
Right.
and that's the mission.
Okay. Now, since that's the mission, has that been successful? Have you been succeeding and seeing that mission accomplished?
Yes, actually, working and preparing for this event that me and Awa are having on December 2nd, it has led there. The people that has helped with Connect and the people that has been that we're working with, it has led with with communication, feeling of I want to be there to support, not to support me, but to actually fulfill that possibility of what is possible at the event.
Right.
So it's already fulfilling its mission, and it hasn't even started yet. It's fulfilling its mission in a sense that the group that is making it happen, that's already fulfilling its mission, and that is fulfilling for me.
Right. Now, that's cool, because it seems like you're bringing people together to work for the business, to bring more people together in the events. You know what I'm saying? So it's like everybody's coming together in some way, shape, or form. So it's definitely getting executed accordingly. So that's awesome.
Yeah.
You know. So how many years have you been doing this?
I have been doing a lot of events.
Okay.
Not this big.
As an event coordinator.
As an event coordinator,
Okay.
it's just a passion of mine to put people together.
Okay.
With like no birthdays, no this, and like it's just a passion of mine to put people together and people ask me all the time, whose birthday is it? There's no birthday. It's just for us to celebrate, and all of us go to dinner, all of us go here. So that has, I think, prepared me for this big event that's coming up, that me and Awa are working together.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, I want you to tell me about Great Bite, you know, because let's start from where you came up with the idea and grew into this business.
Of course.
And then we'll lead into how you guys met and how you guys working together. So continue.
Absolutely. So Great Bite is really it's a mashup of two words, right? an invite, which is at the end, the ITE.
Yeah.
And the grapevine, like I heard it on the grapevine.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Marvin Gaye song.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So if you bring the two together, I got my invite on the grapevine.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So the general idea, really, the original and through mission with Grapevine is to bring consumers and brands together through experiences. That's the simplest form of how I can describe what we do. It's a lot more elaborate about how we actually execute on that. It's a lot more. We own patents on how we execute on that, right? From a technical perspective, the impetus behind this company getting founded actually came from a really good friend of mine, my co-founder, a gentleman by the name of Trevor Call.
Okay.
And it's funny, he has the same background story like Hergie.
Okay.
And in his scenario, it was in his college days, right?
Right.
So wanted to go to all the cool parties. He would actually get into the parties, but he felt like it was such an effort. How to find out where it's happening, who to talk to, just the whole process of just going to have a good time with your friends felt like a production for him. Whereas he always wanted it to be as simple as, hey guys, what are we doing? When are we doing it? And let's do it, right? But it just felt very much like a production for him since his college days, and very much like her, he carried that along with him. It was a driving passion. And he is very social, right? So he does put things together too, right? And I think he's very passionate about tacos, right?
Me too.
Tacos.
Real talk. At one point, he got together a group of so he started this thing where he would do tacos on Thursday. He would go to this one food truck.
Right.
Okay, it was just him. Eventually, it was him and his friend. Eventually, it was him and his friend's friend. Eventually, got to almost 100 people.
Wow.
Right?
Wow.
So just every Thursday, that consistency, and it wasn't like he's like, this is my mission, I'm gonna get 100 people here. It's just, hey, I'm going on Taco Tuesday. Do you want to come? Yeah, it's really cool. You should come over. And just like that, just that natural, authentic sharing experiences with people that have like-minded tastes in this case, or or that are friends of yours or that want to experience that cool thing that you're doing. That also kind of stuck with him. And about a couple years ago, end of 2016, he reached out to me, because being a serial entrepreneur myself, I've done a couple of different startups. And so he reached out with the premise of, hey, I have this idea. I would love to execute on it. Can you give me any guidance? And, he started to describe the idea to me, and I was like, okay, all right, it's a platform where you can discover what your friends are doing and join them, and possibly create other experiences so that your other friends can join them. My mind went 5 years ahead of 2016.
There you go.
Automatically, I kind of did a quick roadmap of seeing where could this thing potentially exit. And rather than say, hey, yeah, I'm glad to sit on your board, I'm glad to give you counsel and advice, it's like, I actually want in. I'm putting some skin in the game. Let me in. I'm jumping in, right? So we started the company together, and our focus was.
And this was 2016.
This was the end of December 2016.
Okay.
So that's the official date when we started the company. We didn't build a single product until August of 2017, because we spent a good 6 to 8 months understanding the business we're getting into, right? So doing the study, doing the surveys, trying to make sure that it's not just an idea, there is a business there, right? It's not a hobby, there's a business, right? Because the difference between a hobby and a business, one generates revenue.
Right.
Right. But if you're passionate about it, both look the same, right?
Correct.
Because again, if you love what you did, the statement sounds
If
cliche.
you love what you do, it's
You're
not
never
working
going to
anymore.
work a day in your life if you love what you do. So it kind of feels like a hobby. But if you're able to take that passion, the energy, that love, right, and drive it into an infrastructure that actually has the potential to generate revenue, you have business. Now, if you can scale that to 1 million, 2 million, 3 million users, you have an enterprise business at that point. So that's what that time did. You know, we went out, did studies, tried to understand how would brands perceive what we're doing, how would consumers perceive what we're doing, what are consumers willing to tolerate, would they pay for this, would they not pay for this, etc., etc. In August, we decided that, okay, let's build what we call an MVP, a minimum viable product, right? So to go out and put it in the market and see how people use it.
What was this product?
It's the first generation Grapevine app.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we built it. We put it out in the marketplace. It grew 4 times faster than we anticipated. Right?
Congratulations.
So we set our growth curve against the same growth curve that Pinterest had, which, you know, it was one of the slowest social media companies in terms of growth, but it at its where it is right now is one of the largest. Right, it's part of the top 10.
Right.
So we set our growth curve to try to meet the steady rate at which Pinterest was growing. We grew 4 times faster than them for the first 6 months, to the point where we had to, like, okay, guys, we built an MVP. It's technically throwaway software. We just wanted to prove that it did what we hoped that it did. Let's slow down. Let's take a step back. Let's re-engineer this thing for scale, because obviously it's scaling up, right? And when we decided to do that, when we said, hey, let's slow down, brands started reaching out to us, right? Really, really large brands, you know, without giving the name of the brand, because we're in final negotiations right now. The top 3 automakers in the world, they've reached out to us to work with us, right?
Nice.
So to leverage the technology that we have, again, like I said, without spending too much time going into it, how we do what we do is really unique to us, to the point where we actually have patents that protect our core technology.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
You definitely want to have some protection, because
Yeah.
nobody can steal your idea. Now,
Well, they could try. So,
Keyword try. Now, Hergie, how did you meet Awan and decide that he would be a good business partner for your business venture?
Well, I'm friends with Nathan.
Okay.
I bought
You
his
need to get on my podcast, Nathan. Stop playing.
I bought his book that day, and I asked him, I shared with him, I just opened up with him, I was just authentic. Hey Nathan, this is what I'm trying to do. Do you know anyone? And then he said, like, let me actually connect you with my friend,
Okay.
Awa. He does Grapevine. And it's like, what is Grapevine? He explained it to me as much as he could. And luckily, I was in the building.
Okay.
And then he came down 5 minutes. He told me what Grapevine is all about. It has the same, they're similarly to what I'm trying to do.
Right.
The
Synergistic values, yeah. And that's how we started. We clicked that day, and we've been talking every day since about this.
Yeah, I mean, and it really is, you know, when she told me about the same story about the whole impetus behind Connect Events, I'm like, I've heard this story before, not from you, but from Trevor, right? Because it's the same story.
Yeah.
And what Trevor comes from a completely different background than you do, right? And if 2 human beings have the same or similar challenges, then it's a human condition, right? It's a human challenge, right? And if you can solve human challenges, right, they are A, difficult to solve, but B, when solved, right? So think about transportation, for example. An idea that we completely take for granted today, but going from Los Angeles to San Francisco 200 years ago took days.
Wow.
You know,
Right.
right?
Right,
So,
right.
This is something that, you know, hop on a flight at LAX and 45 minutes later you're about to land,
Mm-hmm.
right? We take that for granted today. That is a human challenge.
Yeah.
But that human challenge, when overcome, has created a whole industry called the airline industry and then the travel and hospitality industry, and hundreds of billions of dollars a year. We as Grapevine, we've looked at that and we've discovered product market fit in what we're trying to do, and now we're just really trying to position ourselves to carve out a small slice of the experiential marketplace. Right, it's set to be about $120 billion market, market in by 2021. If we get a small slice of that, I think we're doing okay.
No, that's awesome, man, and I would like to be a part of that as well. So, we
Me too, Awa. We are friends here.
I cut you guys into friends.
So now, Hergie, you guys have an event coming up together. So explain to me, what's going to be your position in this event and your position in this event. So you go first.
Well, our event is December 2nd, and we
Okay.
are beyond excited. We are working with different vendors. So, like,
And what event is it?
it's a networking event
Okay.
that caters to beauty, fashion, wellness, and entertainment. So we are working with different vendors. So you are going to experience being there as a guest. Not only you get to network and know people, and know people beyond surface level. You're actually going to get services as well, such as beauty services, massages, and we also have like meditation in all that realm.
Awesome.
Yes.
So it's really a way to kind of like give some of these brands an opportunity to meet their potential customers and vice versa, right? For consumers to meet brands that perhaps they may not have otherwise known were there, but they may need it or may not know that they need it, and then when they discover that, oh my God, there's this brand that has this very amazing attribute to it. Maybe it's a thing about a skincare product that works just for my skin, right?
Yeah.
And I didn't know these guys were around, but because they're so boutiquey, you may never necessarily hear about them. So this experience it's really designed to bring people together and connect and network and integrate with
And
each
build
other.
awareness for each other's business and goals and stuff.
Yeah.
The brands are there in the background. You're gonna run into them, but they're not in your face. You know what I
Right.
mean? So it's kind of like just really blended in. It's not about, hey, let me market at you as much as possible. It's more like, hey, man,
These are services that we offer on top of this event, amazing event.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So because it's like you're not going there solely just to network. It's kind of like a chill atmosphere.
Yes.
Yeah.
But you so happen to be doing this, that, and the third, and you can kind of share that with
Yes.
amongst each other.
So,
Yes.
for example, we'll have live music, right? So,
Yes.
From bands that they're not necessarily up and coming, they're there. They're about to get into that next level, right? So it's just from an entertainment perspective, it's going to be a wonderful evening, right? It's
It will
gonna
be.
fun. So,
That's awesome.
yes.
Yeah, I'm excited to be there. I'm definitely going to be in attendance. So.
yes, sir.
So now, together, you guys as event coordinators, and doing all these different events, what challenges do you foresee that may take place, and how do you prepare for those possible up and coming challenges? Either one of you guys can go.
So far, what I've learned is as Awa has mentioned to me before, 100 things can go wrong
Yes.
before the event.
Right.
And you just gotta be prepared. You can't just sit there and worry the whole day.
Yeah.
All you gotta do is take action, because when you don't take action, nothing will ever happen.
Exactly.
You don't have time to really tell yourself, oh my gosh, it's not gonna happen, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh.
Yes.
All you gotta do is take action. Okay, that didn't work out. Don't make yourself wrong about it. What's the next step?
Yeah.
What's plan B? Because I think what doesn't work and what hasn't worked with me before is I sat in it for too long that nothing has happened. So those are I think what works with us, and
Yes.
AWA has been really great. And I would be the freaking out one and be like, don't you worry,
Yeah.
we got this. Super chill. So yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So what about you? Like
Well-
detail? What type of challenges may occur? You think?
Listen, the way I
Listen.
think, I think
Listen.
that question is really
Moving
more.
frame a little bit more.
Okay. The real question is, what will not happen, right? So it's like you know about 100 different things can go wrong. That's the scope.
Murphy's Law. Mm-hmm.
110 will manage to find a way to happen.
yes.
So, but really, to her point, I'm going to get into some details here. But to her point, really, I think it's about making decisions, right? Indecision is worse than the wrong decision, right? It's okay because you can make a decision. We all make mistakes. What we all do, from someone that just graduated college all the way to top CEOs. I've seen them do it, right? So. It's what we do when we make mistakes that matters, right?
That's true.
So your ability to react quickly and say, okay, all right, we plan to do X. X is not working out. We're not just gonna crumble and panic and decide not to do anything. What can we do to readjust, to pivot, or reposition ourselves so we can get as close to, and in some cases actually better than, the original outcome we set out to get.
Yes.
And we've had quite a few of those in the last couple of weeks alone. So.
Yeah. It actually was for the better.
Yeah.
It was for the better.
Yeah. So again, I think that just to give you an example, we've had venue challenges, right?
Right.
So, we had an original venue that we were going to go with, and I'm not going to mention their name, but
That's fine.
But more importantly, the what matters, the important part of the story is that the venue gave us some constraint in the contract at the last minute, and so I was panicking too, and I'm like, oh my God, this is a pretty serious constraint, and they're unwilling to budge. Okay.
And by constrain, you mean?
So they had a clause in the agreement, which by virtue of us doing what we're doing, will be in violation of that agreement. So
Got it.
definitely don't want to be, don't want to be in that situation. So the next thing that we did was, I was like, okay, cool. Let me make some few phone calls, right? Let me see if there's some other venues that can accommodate us. This venue was gonna charge at several $1,000s all in. So it was gonna be expensive.
Right.
After a few phone calls, a few days later, a few negotiations later, another venue is effectively sponsoring us to be there. So
Yes.
so we went from spending money, lots of money, to them saying, please, we really would love for you to come here. What can we move for you?
Yes.
So there's those things where it's like, challenges will happen. They will happen every single day, right? It's being consistent in identifying them, being consistent in sorting them out, and keeping the progress happening.
Yeah.
Feel the
I do
same way?
agree.
Yeah.
No, I feel the same way. Yeah, we go through challenges every day, but it's about, you could fall down 9 times, but as long as you get up that 10th time,
you're good.
Yeah.
you're good to go.
I think it's all about the story that you actually tell yourself.
Yeah.
It's about how they occur to you. If they occur to you as a dangerous way,
Yeah.
then you're not going to do anything. But if you flip your story,
Yeah.
that this could be for the better,
It's
then
an opportunity.
It's an opportunity. If you think of it this way, okay, this is an opportunity. What's an opportunity for me to understand and to get here? Then that's where you actually take actions a lot faster than
Right.
worrying.
Yeah.
No, that makes perfect sense. So is it just you two guys, like, as far as you having your business and it's just you, and do you guys have a staff, a team? All right, so explain to me what's everybody's position and how that works. Either or can go first, either way.
So on my end, we've mobilized a small army to make this happen.
Like
so.
that small army.
The small army.
Infantry.
It really is. That we have people that are responsible for location integrating with the location. We have people responsible for brands, right? Because as she mentioned, there's some brands that are involved with this, and you know, folks that interface with them. We have people that are responsible for just the event marketing itself, right? So putting the event on the Grapevine platform, which you know, that's one component of what we do. Is we will market the event. If the event has tickets to sell, we can actually sell those tickets on our platform. Beyond that, you know, the propagation characteristics of our platform, how the event shares out to your friends. It's again, that's something that our platform does naturally. We have someone that is in charge of the event marketing from our platform's perspective, and we obviously have from her side, she has a team. I'll let you talk about it. Sorry,
No, you can.
she has a team that interacts with the social media influencers, because they're going to be quite a handful of them at this event. So.
Got it.
Yeah.
You can tell me about your team.
Yeah.
About our team, well, we do have influencers that are coming for at the event, and they are actually putting it out there on their social media and tagging us, tagging Connects about the event. And I also have a team that is going to be there at the event that will be focused on whatever me and Awa cannot handle.
Yeah.
Which is, and what do you think the things that you cannot handle that these people are in place for?
Booths are going to be taken care of if we run out of ice.
Yeah.
Someone's going to take care of that.
It's
some
really a
things-
manpower thing.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Some things good, technical stuff that me and him are going to be hosting the event. We're going to be running around checking everyone's going to be okay.
Yeah.
Basically, production behind closed doors. Those
Yeah.
are going to be the people
Yes.
that's going to be the team behind it.
Gotcha. Now now which one of you locked in the sponsor for this event? I know you had Louis the 13th, correct?
Right. So the event is effectively split into two components. So there's one that is really kind of like this big networking, close to 300 people event, right?
Right.
And there's another one which is a lot more intimate, 20 people. Right.
Okay.
That's the Louis the 13 one. So that's a brand we work with.
Okay.
So like I mentioned earlier in the or maybe I didn't. I mentioned this. Our approach at Grapevine, okay, is we've seen our growth come from brands bringing their communities to us, as opposed to us going and saying, hey, let me convince you to use our platform one by one. We're not going after users one by one. We go after one brand, we get, in this one instance, 300,000 users.
Right.
But, you know, so we're going after brands at an enterprise scale, and historically, we have worked with really high-end brands, right? So this presented us an opportunity for us to really also cater to small and mid-sized brands, right? Because ultimately, our 5-year mission, we will have a plurality of smaller moms and pops, right? Because if you think about it, most businesses are small businesses, right? So and that's all our ultimate goal and target. So this is an opportunity for us to be able to work with to work with those smaller brands and say, hey, look, this is what our platform can do for you, and really drive that experience with them. That said, the Louis the 13 branded event it's a separate but connected event to this, and you know that was one of our brands.
Got it. So do you guys put together like the sponsorship letter that you sent to their PR rep or something like that? Like
no, it's thankfully.
Thankfully,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah, you know, thankfully, it's, you know, we have had relationships as a company with a lot of some of these really large brands. So it's more of a phone call. You know, like, hey, we'd love to do this. Are you interested? Right? And here's an opportunity. Here's why we think it's meaningful for you. And you know, they look at it and they say, okay, all right, we'll do this, or it doesn't fit what we're trying to do right now, right? So it happens. You know, you're gonna get some yeses, you're gonna get some nos. it's just you just gotta keep going. So we have actually we have two really large brands that are Louis XIII is probably a very prestigious brand. There's some of the other brands too. It's prestigious, but in terms of scale, Louis XIII targets a more narrow demographic, right? It's an expensive beverage, right? And this other brand that we're working with that will be at the 200-300 person event.
Can you share what? No, not yet. Okay.
Not yet.
It's fine. It's fine. I understand.
Actually, no. I think I might be able to share this because the name of it's a conglomerate of about 1,500 brands.
Okay.
So it's actually one of the largest food distributors in Southern California. I'm trying. GWFG, Golden West Food Group is the name of their brand, and they have underneath them a bunch of different consumer products, right? So they have an alkaline water product, which is very healthy for you, right? And they have 5 different kombucha brands underneath them. So they have a bunch of different sub brands within them that we can infuse the experience with it, because again, as she said, health, wellness, right? So we want to stay in that theme of health and wellness.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, I want you to answer this one, and then you can answer.
Sure.
Now, what is your 5-year plan for your business solely? I know you plan, because then next I'm going to ask, what's your 5-year plan working with AWAHN? But just you, what's your 5-year plan?
Well, okay, I actually have pictured this in my mind. That actually makes me smile. I would love this all around USA.
Okay.
5-year plan to really build a community and unity where people are actually kind to each other, not just because nice is like you're put on a mask to nice to be nice, and you're not saying you're fake. I'm not saying you're fake or anything. It's just that you're nice. Good morning, but kindness is different. And that's really my dream and my vision in a 5-year goal, to actually build a community. When we keep doing this every month, keep doing this, to actually build that community to the point that you're going to invite your neighbors to just like, hey, want to go to barbecue? Okay, let's invite all our neighbors on Sunday. Because we barely know our neighbors. And to build a community, I think to go to happiness is to have people around you to support you.
Right.
And that's really my mission, and that's really my goal in life, to have that community.
That's a very interesting distinction, the difference between being nice and being kind.
Yeah, there's a huge
subtle
difference.
distinction there, yeah.
It's a huge difference.
I appreciate that. I might borrow that from
Because I think everyone's nice, and I'm not saying it's fake, but kindness, you feel it in your heart. You really feel it, and that's really the main goal and the root of why I'm doing this. When you really think about, at first I was like, okay, this is so nice, this is amazing, and then I got to the point where it's like, wow, there is a huge possibility for everyone here, and it's not about me anymore. Because a lot of people out there, you make a lot of money, and that's amazing that you are making, but behind closed doors you go home and you're lonely. And that's one thing that I want to not fix, but we can have a possibility where actually we can unite. When we actually leave, the goal of leaving this event, the very first event, is you smiling genuinely, because that was a good one.
Right.
You met people there genuinely, and that's the goal. Really spreading it all around US in the next 10 years is around the world.
Right. No, I definitely see something like that happening. Now, what about for you? What's your 5-year plan, as a businessman?
Yes. As a businessman, or this with Grapevine in particular?
As a businessman, then we can, because it includes it.
Right, it does. So. It does include it, you're right. ideally, right? So my current passion is building, growing businesses, right? So it's, to me, it's like a drug. Like, so build it, grow it, stop for like 6 months, get bored, get back into it. You know, I think what in a 5-6 year window, what I like to do is to build this, grow it to, you know, being a global brand, a global company, and get it to a place where, you know, I can pursue my own personal passion projects, right? Which in are they're more along the lines of building schools and building healthcare facilities in continental Africa, right? Which is where I'm from originally, right? So that's actually, we all are. So
now, why is that part important to you? It sounds like it's so sentimental.
Yeah. So a good chunk of my family comes from a healthcare background, and there is, to an extent, a legacy component to that, right? One of my uncles who passed not too long ago is really kind of like pioneer is not the accurate word, but a trailblazer with research medicine in that part of the world. And when you consider the limited resources that was available to him and what he was able to do with that, I'm trying to imagine a universe where people that are as, you know, smart like him, smarter, have access to resources. What are some, you know, just a taboo example? Ebola comes up every 3 or 4 years, right? There are doctors there. There are doctors that are closer to that disease, that know it, that research it, but they don't have the same tools that, but, you know, may be available to a more developed society, right? I'm wondering, can we eradicate some of these diseases if we had more resources, we had access to more education, we had access to more facilities for research and laboratory work, you know? I feel fortunate that in my circumstance, I've been afforded that opportunity by my parents to, you know, use whatever talents that I've been able to develop since childhood and build something for myself along the way. But I don't suspect everybody is that fortunate, right? So, and it's not because of lack of trying, it's not because, it's just the circumstances. If there's something that I could do to affect those circumstances, even in a small way, you know, talking 1% way, it could have significant impacts to the region. So.
Yeah, no, you're still having a contribution to the greater goal, so that's fulfilling within itself, you know what I'm saying? I mean, you can't do everything yourself, you know, maybe one day, but, you know. And where are you from?
Philippines.
Philippines,
Yeah,
awesome.
I'm from the Philippines. Was born and raised there. Moved here when I was 17.
How you liking LA so far?
I tell you, I've only been home once, and that's how much I love LA.
Oh, wow. So things are working for you.
Things are working out here.
Now, when you came out here, did you start with the Connect business, or were you doing other things until it led up to that?
I went to school.
Okay.
And I just kept going to school.
What'd you study?
Fashion design.
Awesome.
Fashion design. And I was very lost last year.
What do you mean lost?
Lost in a sense that I did not know my passion. I knew I wasn't, I didn't belong in fashion design last year, because when I started complaining, Monday.
Oh, yeah.
And then on a Sunday, I'm like, oh gosh, I gotta work tomorrow.
It's a very good sign.
It's such a good sign, and you just gotta look like, oh, when is it over? That's when I knew it's not for me, and I had to find that. For me, it's actually a journey to find myself, and the way I found it is to actually look inwards, not look outwards when what everyone is doing, but what do I actually really want to do, and that's how I started with this vision, and now it's actually happening and it's coming together and it's real, which is Connect.
That's what's up. So you left school. You didn't graduate. You left.
Oh no, I graduated.
Okay, good deal.
And then I worked as fashion designer for 6 years.
Oh, okay. With your own brand? Or
Not with my own brand, for companies I worked for.
Okay.
And I did leave because it's not my passion.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what's up. So how long was it from when you were working in fashion design to where you decided to leave and start your own business?
I started working 2012, so that's about how many years? I don't even know.
6.
Yes, around that time I was working. But I love fashion, but I discovered that I like wearing it and not actually producing it.
Right. Yeah.
I love people. I'm obsessed with people. I love connecting with people, and when I see that smile from people, it makes me smile. Because I feel like it forms a connection, it forms a bond, and then that person, you become friends behind, like, I feel like I was my friend behind, like,
The business.
behind business, and that's what's important to me. And with integrity, with your values, when they're all aligned, you know you're in the right place, and I know that I'm in the right place right now at this time.
Do you feel that's God's purpose for you? What you're
think
doing?
so. Yeah. And then looking back, one of the things that I actually discovered, how I found my passion, is I actually interviewed a lot of my friends.
Okay.
What am I good at? What are my strengths? What are my weaknesses? And
That's
they all
interesting.
said, I interviewed 20 people. They all said one
That
thing.
know you closely.
Yeah,
Okay.
that know me closely and that know me as just an acquaintance.
Okay.
So you did both samplings.
I did
That's
both.
good.
I did
Scientific
like
method.
really
Yeah.
dig. I really dig. So like, what are my strengths? What are my weaknesses? Like, what whenever I'm around you, what do you feel? How do you feel? And slowly, like you're prepared to be where you're at. And I think that has prepared me to be like, oh, connect. It's such a cliche word, but it makes sense to me.
Right.
Yeah.
That's cool. And what's the actual website?
Connect Events Co.
ConnectEvent.co.
.co.
Okay.
Yes.
That's cool. What do you think God's purpose for you is?
I am not sure, but in my mind, I think it's the passion project I talked about earlier, but that's kind of self-serving in some ways for me to think that way. But I tell Jesus to take the wheel every day, so
Same.
Whichever endeavor that any endeavor that I undertake, I really want it to be something that changes lives for the better, right? So positive impact to lives, right? So whether it's Trevor bringing to me and saying, hey, look, there's this background story behind why I wanted to build this thing for the last 10 years, and this is why I haven't built it. And I said, well, we can build this, right? We can get the technological resources to do it. I can help with that. My background is in technology. We can do it. We can take it from an idea into something manifest, something tangible, right? And even when we get there, we can take it further, right? Ultimately, at the end of the day, even if it's just 1% of the kids that are out there that are using our platform and they're able to share experiences and they're able to do fun things together, that's a 1% of 7 billion. It's a good number still. It's still a good number. So.
Definitely.
Yeah.
No, that's great, man. Well, I mean, I'm just excited to be a part of the event and a part of that
Thank you.
7
We're
billion.
so excited of having you. It's gonna be so much fun.
I know.
And there will be after party.
Oh,
There you go.
There you go.
I don't know if I'll do the after party. I'm there for the networking, man. My girl got me on the curfew, so I don't think I could be. But we'll see what I can do. We'll see what So where can people follow you? And they know the website, but follow you personally.
Follow me personally. It's Hergie Estoque. HergieEstoque. And that's my Instagram.
Oh,
Also, my Connect is Connect Events Co. That would be the Instagram. So please follow us.
awesome. And you?
Just almost every network, whether it's Snapchat, Instagram, LinkedIn, which is my all-time favorite. I'm a business guy.
Same.
Right? It's all at Grapevite, right? So GRAPEVITE. The website's grapevite.com. Check it out. It's fun. We have, on average, at any given point in time across the entire United States, about 110,000 things to do. 110,000 experiences and events. So check it out. It's fun. Me personally, funny story. I'm great at building these technologies. I end up personally I don't use them all that much. So my Instagram is not as used as I could have it. But if you care to find out more about me, find me on LinkedIn. I'd probably use that a little bit more. But my Instagram is my first name AWAHN like Nancy and my last name TEH. So at AWAHN TEH at Instagram. But really, hit me up on LinkedIn.
Gotcha. So now, last question: how do you guys utilize social media to help your business thrive, if you do so? And you guys can speak one at a time.
I think social media has helped me reach out to my friends that are not here with me, and their friends of friends when they comment, and people who follow me, and that's my outreach over there.
So you use that as your followers as your audience?
As my audience, yes, I do.
And then what do you do to keep them engaged?
To keep them engaged, same as Awa, I am not up to date with my social media about what the impact that I want to have in the world. I'm not up to date with that.
Okay, so what's your plan to get up to date?
To get up to date is to actually get started.
Okay.
To get started. And to actually just share my vision and to keep sharing. I think that's the plan to get up to date.
Gotcha. When you going to get started?
When am I going to get started? Today. Today.
That's
I'm going to get started.
That's the answer I wanted
Today.
to hear.
Right now.
Same question for you, buddy.
Listen. I think for us as a business, we do leverage social media a lot, right? And so we have a small army that takes care of that too.
Okay.
Yeah. But as an individual, I tend to be very private. So which is probably why, or actually, I am very private, which is true. But I'm also incredibly busy. So personally, I haven't had time to capture all of these moments. I tend to tell my friends, hey, send me that video. Hey, send me that picture. And they do. But I never post it. I never get around to actually posting it. So, maybe I'll try to get on the bandwagon a little bit more often than I already do. But from time to time, I post some things that are meaningful to me. The occasional vacation. So I go with my wife to Hawaii every year without fail on April. We spend the weekend there between April 25th and just into May. Right?
That's awesome. Me and my girl going in February.
Yeah, me and my someone.
Yeah. No, you're not. Wifey.
There you go. So when I'm there, I do capture content and I post it. So most of my Instagram is actually Hawaii, right? So it's special moments for me.
Aww.
There's if you go in April, anybody ever goes in April, and the island on Honolulu in Waikiki, they have a spam fest. Fun, fascinating things you can discover what they can do with spam. So it's called the Spam Fest. It's very, and not spam the email. Let's be clear.
Right.
Like the spam.
Yeah, spam food, the food product. So a lot of my Instagram is my art. So I paint. I have a balanced technical and artistic side to myself. So. Painting is kind of like my stress reliever, right? So when I have a really stressful day, I either do one of two things: I either cook or I paint.
Wow.
So my wife sometimes comes home to meal and dessert. Without fail, she's like, "That kind of day, huh?" This is delicious.
That's funny. No, that's good.
So again, those are the kind of things I will post.
Yeah, it's kind of therapeutic for you.
Yeah.
Man.
Exactly.
Same here.
Yeah.
Well, I want to thank you guys for coming on the show.
Thanks
It was a
for having us.
pleasure speaking
Thank
with you
you.
guys. I look forward to seeing more of your business venture come to fruition and being in attendance, of course,
Of
and
course.
possibly involved as well.
Of course.
Wherever you guys can fit me in there. But Hergie, thank you again.
Thank you.
I
Thank you
appreciate
so
you.
much.
Oh,
Alma.
man. Yes, sir.
Definitely, it's been a pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Sleep is for Billionaires, the podcast. Stay tuned for more episodes to come.
Grazie.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.